to MNUFC TV. A little bit late due to the poor scheduling of the Gold Cup games being the same day as the U.S. Open Cup games. The Gold Cup games going on at Allianz Field. U.S. Group D with Guyana, Panama, and Trinidad and Tobago. But yeah, poor scheduling on the Federation's part. Really should have just been the Gold Cup game, obviously today, and the Open Cup game tomorrow and or Thursday. But what are you gonna do? So I actually watched the whole game on my phone in the stands during the Panama Trinidad Tobago game, but this was a game of two halves completely. The first half, we came out lackadaisical. Eric Miller looked absolutely lost. Boxall was getting done a couple times. Ike felt shaky. It was the first 45 was just really, really forgettable. And we go down 10 minutes, go down 1-0 within the first 10 minutes off a corner, and they were dominating us, and it wasn't going too smoothly at all. Boxall even picks up a yellow in the 20th minute, and from that point on, it was that whole first half was iffy. We couldn't get anything going really. They had the better chances, and they looked like the better team the first half. We just couldn't really get much going, and then the second goal is a awful giveaway by Jan Gregus in the midfield, and 100% his fault. He gives the ball away, and Ike can't get back because he's blocked by another attacker by Houston Dynamo, and they just box him out and gives the player that Jan gives the ball away to a straight one-on-one with Vito, and Vito doesn't make the save, but he's not to blame for it. It's a composed, clean finish, and Vito has no chance at all. But it's by far a Jan Gregus error for that second goal, and it was not looking too good. Very frustrating first half. Very frustrating. And then one of their players does end up picking up a yellow card at the end of the first half. And this is a team that came to Allianz Field and we beat 1-0 off a Roman Montier deflection goal earlier this month. But it was that first half that we just couldn't get anything going. And I'm going to have to give a ton of credit to Adrian Heath making a change in the second half by subbing Miguel Ibarra in for Eric Miller and putting Miguel Ibarra in Dotson's spot in the midfield and having Dotson move into Miller's spot at right back. And wow, it completely changed the game. Absolutely changed the game. As well as they subbed out Garcia for Herrera at halftime. But nonetheless, completely changed the game. In the second half, we could have had 10 goals. Maybe not exactly 10, but 4 or 5, maybe 6. Like, we had Angelo should have scored. Miguel should have scored. There's a couple really, really good opportunities. And Finley had a good dashing header on the near post on a corner, and their goalie was making some incredible saves, absolutely incredible. And it looked like it wasn't maybe going to be our night until about the 66th minute. A nice little flick on to Angelo from Darwin, and Angelo outmuscles the center back and turns him and is able to get down the right side and one-time it to Darwin, who is able to sneak it in that bottom left corner, and it is a beautiful Colombian connection play, and we draw it back to 1-2 Houston Dynamo. And then after that, they make a sub in Salazar for Harrison. And this was a forward for forward, or a forward for midfielder. Um, it's because he really did play somewhat forward. He might have been an attacking midfielder, but he played quite forward. And then Adrian Heath makes a change in the 74th minute, bringing on Mason Toy for Angelo Rodriguez, and it was the change to make because Toy was taking up that space. He was making good runs. He was energetic, a lot more lively. You could tell towards the end of the half, Angelo was getting tired, but Toy came on and did wonderful. And for the most part, every time I see him, there's been a couple times where he hasn't, but he plays very, very well. So when he comes on, he does what he needs to do. If it is to hold up the ball and waste a little bit of time towards the end of the game, or come on and make a little bit of impact, or get the forwards moving, and a little bit of creativity, and he just helped really show that. And he looked lively. And then in the 82nd minute, Darwin Quintero gets a little bit of space outside the box and just rips one. Absolutely curls one at the bottom mid-right corner, and the goalkeeper has no chance. And it's an absolute screamer from Darwin Quintero. Assist from Miguel Ibarra, but Quintero does all the work on this one, and it is absolutely a world-class goal. Look it up if you haven't seen it yet. It's a lovely goal. And we tie it up at 2, and in the stands, in the beer hall, you could see everyone cheering, and it was really sweet to be in there. And it really, really felt like we were gonna get that third goal. They made another substitution late, and just when it got too late, Ethan Finley gets a ball down that right side, and he does that. Does one of their right backs get? I believe it would be their left back actually gets right around him and absolutely does them, and then tees up Toy for another tap in, and we go up 3-2 at the 89th minute. And at this time, it's just 4 minutes of stoppage time, and that's all we need. So just waste that time out, and we get the W, and we move on to the quarterfinals. So it feels good. We'll either play New Mexico United or FC Dallas, who play tomorrow. This is due to the regional issues with the Open Cup. It's based off by region for the draws. So we'll either be playing a lower league side or FC Dallas. And personally, I'd like to play the lower league side in New Mexico United. If they move on, obviously they deserve to be there, but I believe that we should easily be able to swipe past the USL side. So let's hopefully they get one more upset, a little bit more cup magic until we snap their hopes in the quarterfinals. So that's it for me for the instant match reaction. Go check out the player ratings, and as always, come on, you Loons.